Hey everyone, Pastor Jonathan here, and welcome back to another one of our online lesson series here at Powhatan. So the Powhatan Youth meets 3 times a week, and if you ever want to join us in person, we meet once on Wednesdays and twice on Sundays. The specific times that we meet will be down below in the description, and also, Vacation Bible School is coming up real soon. If you want to be a part of this or help out at all, please register online, and it starts on June the 13th. Specifically, our Facebook page will have a link for how to join and register. So anyways, we are on week 2 now of our study on the Screwtape Letters. Those of you that were able to come to church last week were super receptive to the message. It was really exciting. And therefore, I want to just jump back in and let's talk about chapter 2 of the book. So in this part of the Screwtape Letters, Screwtape is writing to his nephew, Wormwood. If you remember, these are 2 demons trying to figure out how to best effectively tempt different humans. And Wormwood has this specific man that he's trying to tempt. It's what they call his patient. And Screwtape begins the letter by chastising Wormwood because he allowed his patient to become a Christian. Now, for us, that's great news. If you become a Christian, congratulations, your eternal soul is now saved. Wonderful, wonderful news. But if you're a demon, that's pretty horrible news, isn't it? But Screwtape says, not to worry. Just because he's a Christian, that doesn't mean he's saved quite yet. And that's a little bit confusing, right? Isn't it just the fact you're a Christian mean that you're saved forever? Well, there's a bit of a debate on that theologically. We're not getting into that. But Screwtape was saying that this guy is still a baby Christian. We can still tempt him and we can still lead him away. And I think that makes sense. We've talked before about the concept of sanctification. And sanctification is the process, if you remember, of gradually becoming more like Jesus. And I really want to focus in on that word gradually, because I think you've noticed in your own lives, you don't suddenly accept Jesus and then you're a saint and you never sin again, right? Becoming Christ-like is very gradual, very slow, and very painful. I'll tell you, I've been a Christian my entire life, and I am astonished at how often I can still mess up and make mistakes. It's ridiculous. So Screwtape really wants them to hammer in on this idea that the patient, yeah, he's a Christian, but he's a baby Christian. He's weak. He hasn't been tested. He can very easily backslide and go back to his former lifestyle. And Screwtape says that one of the things that could help aid them in bringing this man back to Satan is the church. And this is another weird thing about this book. Screwtape says that the church will help lead people away from God. How in the world is that possible? The church is supposed to be the human representation of God, right? The church is how we share the gospel here on earth. Why would that ever do anything but help? So Screwtape says that the church is human. It's run by fallible, imperfect people. And if an imperfect person is running a church, that means there's going to be mistakes. That means there's going to be messes and imperfections. And if I'm coming in one day as a new Christian thinking, I can't wait to share the message of God and learn about Him, and I come in, everyone's kind of tired. The pastor's off his game today. Maybe he gets angry at the congregation. There's no coffee. The biscuits and whatever food is there is kind of stale. What do you think that gives this person? What perception does he have of the church? Not really as exciting as the Bible says. When Jesus is talking with Peter in the Bible, he says, "You shall found my church, and the gates of hell shall not be able to stand against it." So that paints a pretty big, incredible picture of the church, right? This massive force that even hell itself cannot stop. If I heard that for the first time, I thought, man, this church thing is probably awesome. There's going to be like all these super Christians, going to be shining lights everywhere. Maybe it's even going to be floating. Who knows? I don't know. Let's go check this out. And then you get to church and it's just kind of meh, you know? And I say that as a worker in the church. Sometimes we're not perfect. There are some days where I'm very off my game and I think, oh no, what have I made people think of the church because I messed up? And that's how Screwtape wants to tempt this patient. Because he can't see God, he can't see eternity and all of God's angels and all of his power. All he can see is this little rinky-dink church, all these grumpy people, and a pastor that's maybe not the best teacher of God's word. So that's kind of dangerous, isn't it? Going to church and potentially being disappointed by it. And that's why we gotta be really careful as Christians. We gotta remember that even if we go to a church, it's being run, like I said, by imperfect people. And I think that's really important because even when we Christians mess up, we still have to look to God for our standard. I've heard of people who've said they've left the church because of a bad Christian or a bad pastor or a bad relationship there. And I can understand that, but it also doesn't quite make sense. God is the only perfect being. If you're a Christian, you accept that. So why then would you deny the church and leave it when you already know that you're already going to be disappointed by these other people? Just something for you all to think on. I thought this was interesting as always, and I hope you can join us next week as we go over the Screwtape Letters, the third chapter, or VBS. I think we're actually doing VBS first, so the week after we'll be doing back Screwtape Letters again. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please message me or call me, or just see me in person at church. I'm here most of the time. And with that, I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye!